So the cinematic that we got at the beginning of Year 8 of Rainbow Six Siege was absolutely phenomenal. I got to sit and watch this in the 6th Invitational in Montreal in a crowd amongst some of my favourite people in the community, and the crowd's reaction was absolutely amazing, and I know a lot of you guys at home enjoyed it as well. And considering how well my recent video where I talk about the entirety of Rainbow Six Siege lore is doing, both in views, likes, and comments, it's nice to see that a lot of people are getting into the lore of Rainbow Six Siege and are enjoying it. So not only was the Year 8 cinematic animated beautifully and the acting was incredible, this was possibly one of the biggest chunks of lore in Rainbow Six history. We learned the true villain who's been pulling the strings between Rainbow and Nighthaven, we had the loss of Harry, and of course the biggest question to come out of this cinematic was, who is this new figure? Who is Deimos and what is his true identity? And ladies and gentlemen, I think I have finally discovered who Deimos' real identity is, and I do ask you to stick around to the end of the video after I presented all the facts to get your opinion on this theory. But I will say, I do think this is the best Deimos theory yet. So if you saw my entire Rainbow Six Siege lore video from the other day, which I once again highly recommend checking out before we continue with this video, you may have noticed that the lore actually started in 2012, which was a good few years before Rainbow Six Siege itself came out. And this was with something known as Operation Patriot. Now Operation Patriot refers to the cancelled Tom Clancy game known as Rainbow Six Patriots, which was revealed in December of 2011 and was going to be a narrative-driven Rainbow Six game, which would have been the next mainline entry after Rainbow Six Vegas 2. However, after a few years of radio silence, Ubisoft announced that it was cancelled, and in its place, a new game was born, Rainbow Six Siege. And because of this, we just assume that all the events of Rainbow Six Patriot were cancelled as well, not just the game, but the story, the whole universe implications from it were completely wiped away. It didn't happen, Rainbow Six Siege is now the next mainline entry, and Patriot's never seen the light of day. So as you've seen in my entire lore video, Rainbow Six Siege goes on, the tiny bit of lore that came with the game happens, blah blah blah, we get more content, you guys know the story. This is when the theory is going to get a little bit confusing, but trust me, it does make sense, you just need to hear me out. In 2017, another Tom Clancy game by the name of Ghost Recon Wildlands releases, and during this game's life cycle, there is a crossover event with Rainbow Six Siege known as Operation Archangel. We're not going to get into the specifics of Operation Archangel, once again, I cover that all in my entire lore video. However, in this crossover operation, the lead protagonist of the Ghost Recon Wildlands game, Nomad, is talking to the operator Kaze and references a previous operation known as Operation Patriot.
It's nice to see the rainbows and the ghosts can work together. A little interagency cooperation never hurts.
Maybe we'll get to do it again. We come down here to play every now and then.
Hey, I heard something about an op you guys ran that went south. Operation Patriots, ring any bells?
Who told you about that?
I have my sources.
Tell your sources to mind their business. Patriots is very classified.
So you won't tell me what happened?
Not even with a knife to my throat.
From this single line of dialogue in a crossover mission in Ghost Recon Wildlands, it pretty much confirms that although Rainbow Six Patriots was a cancelled game, the story implications of it actually did happen in the universe, and Nomad even knows about this. And before people say, oh well, this crossover between Ghost Recon and Rainbow Six Siege might have not been canon, in Kaze's bio it references Operation Archangel, which is this crossover, so this crossover is canon as well. So now that we have confirmation that Operation Patriot did happen in the mainline Rainbow Six universe, of course there's other universes which have like Extraction in it, but we're of course focusing on the main one, which all the old Rainbow Six games, Vegas and all that, and Siege are of course in. Rainbow Six Patriots did happen, although we didn't get to play it. So let's start looking into what we actually knew about Rainbow Six Patriots' story. Rainbow Six Patriots takes place in New York, where Team Rainbow are facing off against a terrorist organization known as the True Patriots. They would attack people of note such as wealthy businessmen, and what they wanted was economic equality. And the way the gameplay was described, it sounds like a lot of it went on to then go into games such as The Division and Ghost Recon. But something I just learned recently, and I've never seen anyone talk about this before, is that we know of 3 major characters that were going to be in Rainbow Six Patriots. The first of which was the leader of the True Patriots terrorist organization going by the name Treadway. His description refers to him as a calculated figurehead, and claims that his organization's main goal is to seek retribution against companies and executives who took part or profited on job streamlining, debt collection, home foreclosures, and bailout. The organization started committing terrorist acts in New York City and became infamous for assaulting, kidnapping, and murdering those who believed to be guilty. On the other hand, the main protagonist of the game, in which we will be playing as, would have been known as Echo Leader. We do not know their real name, I don't think it got that far, but Echo Leader is what they are known as now. But the final Rainbow Six Patriots character, which we have learned of, is none other than a man by the name of James Wolfe, who was serving as none other than the director of Team Rainbow during Operation Patriots. So for the main Siege timeline, we always just assumed that it went from John Clark in 1999 to 2010, Domingo Chavez from 2010 to 2012. Then after the events of Rainbow Six Patriots, Rainbow was deactivated, then reactivated by Aurelia Arnault in 2015, where she served until 2019, and of course Harry went from 2019 to 2023. So James Wolfe bridging the gap between Domingo Chavez and Aurelia Arnault makes so much sense, and fits so well with the character of Deimos. So let's start looking at the facts. When Deimos is confronting Harry, he says to Harry that you disgraced my unit.
You know, Rainbow used to be feared in my time. A covert unit of apex killers. And you turned it into the fucking Ice Capades. You disgraced my unit, Harry.
I think the only role in the hierarchy of Team Rainbow that can refer to the unit as their own is the one acting as a director and as Six. It's definitely not going to be Aurelia, it's definitely not going to be John Clark or Domingo. It makes so much sense for Deimos to be James Wolfe, who was acting as the role of Six during Operation Patriot, and it makes a lot of sense for him to be a villain as well. We do not know all the plot points that happened in Operation Patriot, but one of the major things we do know is that Team Rainbow was deactivated, and according to Nomad from Ghost Recon, the operation went south and went pretty bad. And in a little bit of the description for Echo Leader, who once again was going to be the protagonist of Rainbow Six Patriots, it says that he would have seen James Wolfe as a father figure, and that this dynamic would have presented the player with a series of morality choices throughout the game. And in James Wolfe's description, it says that he believed that ethics were irrelevant when dealing with the true Patriots terrorist threat. So, could during the events of Operation Patriot, Team Rainbow and James Wolfe as the acting director of Team Rainbow were completely disgraced in the eyes of the public? James Wolfe, who saw ethics as irrelevant when dealing with this terrorist organization, might have ordered Rainbow to do something which could have been seen as quite bad in the public eye, leading to the eventual deactivation of Rainbow after public opinion sours on them, and in turn, James Wolfe is removed as the acting director of Team Rainbow and removed from the role of Six, and potentially faced even more issues after that. This fits with Deimos perfectly. Let's say after Team Rainbow is disgraced and deactivated, James Wolfe loses his position and basically becomes unaffiliated with Rainbow and the US military in general because he is American and is an ex-Navy SEAL. This sets up James Wolfe to becoming a potential villain in the future after he sees Rainbow being reactivated, and then they start, hosting stadium events where they're doing these massive games. And James Wolfe is watching from the background and how he tried to stop a terrorist organization, but he was disgraced by doing so, where Harry is sitting in the position he was once in, hosting basically Operator Olympics. And just like Deimos said before he killed Harry, Rainbow was feared in his time, and Harry turned him into the fucking Ice Capades. And so when comparing James Wolfe to Deimos, it is pretty safe to say that this theory is probably going to be the more likely outcome, and that Deimos is going to be James Wolfe. The motivation is there, the backstory is there. This could also set Ubisoft up now into actually finally making Rainbow Six Patriots, where Deimos, or at this time James Wolfe, will be the acting director of Team Rainbow, also known as Six. We get to play as the Echo Leader and see James Wolfe go on this downward spiral, and especially now as a player, knowing what he eventually turns into would make the experience of Rainbow Six Patriots be even that much better. So guys, I'm going to be honest, although this is a theory and you should take everything with a grain of salt and not take anything as fact, I definitely do think that the facts we have presented definitely do link James Wolfe to being Deimos in Rainbow Six Siege lore. This could also coincide with my theory the other day where I believe that the next season's Swedish operator is actually going to be Annika, a Rainbow operative from the older Rainbow Six titles, and the fact that Deimos was once Six would explain why the Swedish operator, who I believe is Annika, would know so much about him. Every single thing that Deimos said in the Year 8 cinematic matches with everything we know about James Wolfe. And so guys, that is my theory as to who Deimos truly is in Rainbow Six Siege lore. I am publicly stating that I am so certain that Deimos is James Wolfe that I will record a video of me eating my shoe if it is not James Wolfe. I definitely think all the evidence is there, and I really do hope that we eventually get the release of Rainbow Six Patriots as a game. Ubisoft are definitely probably looking at creating more Rainbow Six games in the future. I definitely think the kind of mixed reaction of Rainbow Six Extraction is going to steer them in a different direction. Considering how much effort recently they have been putting into the lore as well, it would be ideal for Ubisoft to create another mainline Rainbow Six game which has a full-fledged campaign. And what better of a game would it be to create a prequel to Rainbow Six Siege, one of the most successful games of all time and the most successful product in the entirety of the Rainbow Six franchise, that could not only set up new operators to join Siege in the future, but also sets up the villain of Rainbow Six Siege lore. So guys, be sure to let me your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about this theory? Do you think that Deimos is actually James Wolfe, who is the director of Team Rainbow during Rainbow Six Patriots? Or do you think I'm extremely far off and Deimos is actually someone else? So be sure to let me your thoughts thoughts in the comment section below. Drop a like on this video if you did enjoy, dislike if not, subscribe if you're new and enjoy Rainbow Six Siege lore. I'm your one-stop shop for Rainbow Six Siege lore content, so I hope to see you all again in the future. And as always guys, have an incredible rest of your day. I love you all, stay safe, peace.